Alright guys, this is Farmer Dan or Plowboy. Was the grader blading the other day and kind of noticed that my grader blade's tilted to one side. And I don't have any type of fancy stuff in order to actually make it tilt like that. So it turns out I cranked my arm all the way up over there. And to find out that when I had this 3-point rebuilt, the guys at the dealership didn't exactly do it right. They got the arms teetered. So what ended up happening was this arm's actually sitting lower than that one is. So today I'm going to do a quick video as to how to work on these. I've actually had to tear them apart before, and I've actually had to teach myself. And the books make it look twice as hard as it really is. I mean, anybody could do this as long as you got the guts to yank that big old thing out of the rear end. But I mean, with a hoist or any type of friend or anything, it's really not that hard. So I'm just going to go through some simple stuff. This is a Ford 4000 with the Selecto speed. So what I ended up doing was, you've actually got a clip here. You got a little clip right there, and that you got to peel that clip off of the nut and off the bolt. And this bolt is a 13/16. So I got my wrench right there. I pop that off, and here's the cap. And what happens is this this little washer deal that locks that bolt in is hooks onto that cap, and that cap is mainly there just to be able to keep junk out of there and just keep it nice and clean. And it gives this thing something to hold on to. So that way when you crank all this stuff down and you pop that locker back onto the edge of your bolt here, that will actually lock everything up. But it's not hard to really do it. I just loosened everything up. In fact, when I got this back from the dealership, I just found out that all this stuff was actually hand tight. I went to work my butt off trying to get this stupid thing off of the bolt just to find out that I didn't even need my wrench in the first place. But so now you're going to look back here, and you're going to see that there's a whole bunch of notches and stuff in this, and that's actually what moves. This is there's a shaft that goes all the way across here, and what it does is it actually pivots, because you've got your piston, and your piston sits right about in the middle, right around here, and that piston fills up with hydraulic fluid one way or the other. And so then what happens is it's got a connecting rod that goes back and forth, and however that connecting rod moves, it's offset like a camshaft or any type of sickle bar shaft. And what happens is it rotates on this bar here, and this bar will move, and then all of a sudden it starts peeling the whole entire arms up. So you can see here, I mean, it looks pretty clean, but I'm just going to yank it off. It probably won't take a whole lot to yank this thing off. If anything else, you just get in here with like a chisel or something just to pop it off. A lot of the stuff has got grease in it, so that way it'll all smoothly work back and forth. That's something that's almost mandatory. But it's a little different than the 8 ends. I don't know about the Jubilee or that generation in there with the Power Master series, but with the 4000 and 1000 series, at least on the newer generations, what this ended up looking like was, it's honestly really simple. The 8N series is a lot more simple, but this is just more mechanical stuff. I mean, it's literally just got a more complex draft control, and that's about the only thing that really makes it more harder to understand. But I mean, the books and stuff make this look 3 times harder than it really is. So just stay with me, and I'll pull this arm off and show you guys what the guts of it look like, at least for this arm and everything else. Alright guys, so I just got done working on this. It actually didn't take a whole lot. I literally stopped my camera from working for 2 seconds, went over here and jiggled it, and the whole thing just moves. But if you can see, there's teeth in there, and as that thing rotates, that's what pulls this arm up or down. So I'm going to just take this all the way off. Here, I'm going to get around the back side, because that arm gets to be a little bit on the heavy side. But I mean, this is the plow. I mean, hell, it's nothing great, but it really, you know, if the whole entire thing's moving to one side, a full 6 feet like that, if it's tilting a good 3 inches, you know you got something messed up. But what we're going to do, if I can get situated here, yeah, we're just going to work it all the way across. And then there it is. And that's all there really is to pulling that arm off. Now, what you want to do is, this might take 1 or 2 more people. I've never done this before, so we're going to find out the hard way. But chances are, what I'm going to try doing is I'm just going to lay a board across the face of my drawbar. I'm going to unhook everything, and I'm going to set the arms up level with one another. I'm going to put a level on top and run it across the top of these arms and set the arms down on that board. And then what will happen is I can set all that stuff up, so that way when the level is completely level, hopefully one of these teeth will line up and this thing isn't stretched too far or too short or anything like that. So I'll get back to you guys when I got this all set up, and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. Alright guys, so here's my board right here. I just thought about something before I got everything set up, was if I go to lift this thing up, because right now everything's off and the down pressure's out, so it's just going to sit there and float. But if I go to set this board on there, and this thing's all the way down, and those arms aren't still sitting all the way down like they should be, chances are what's going to end up happening is I'm either going to work air into the system, or my position is going to be off whenever I go to move that lever. So what we're going to do is we're going to walk around here, we're going to start the tractor up real fast and move everything up to where it should be. And I'll show you guys what I'm talking about when that thing turns, because that's what moves the whole entire arm. Alright, now I'm going to move my lever. I'm going to see how that's moving? That's what cranks the whole thing up and down. Alright, so we're going to set this board in here. See how that's sitting above the drawbar now? Now I can go in here and I can set this whole thing down. Hopefully it'll fit. Alright, there we go. There's that side. Let's grab this side. Ah, crap. Ugh. Jobs suck when you gotta do them on your own. Alright. Now, we're gonna set this puppy down just enough in order to keep that board tight. Alright. Now hopefully, by setting it down like this and keeping the tractor running, you still got pressure inside of that piston, so that way your position control won't be completely off. But what we're going to do is we're going to go grab a level real fast and make sure everything's nice and plumb before we end up taking that whole entire arm and shoving it back on just to find out it's not level. Alright guys, here we go. We're going to check to make sure this thing's level. That's close. Alright. Gonna make sure this thing's still setting where it should be. Alright, right there. Now we just come over here, set our arm back on, and just get it set up just enough. Oh god, that's heavy. Yeah, see, it lined right up. Got it started in one of the teeth. Alright. Now we're going to move it up. Sweet. Didn't mess my position or anything. Okay. So, I'm going to take all this crap out of here. Hillbilly rigging 101. But when you don't have the specialty tools, it's kind of nice to know that you can do stuff without having to go to the factory or to the dealership. Now what we're going to do is I'm just going to pull this thing ahead and I'm going to swing both arms together, and we're going to make sure they're sitting at the same spot on each of them, sitting nice and plumb with each other. Otherwise this whole video would just kind of be a shame and a stupid waste of my time. Alright. So, see, it's not completely level again. Alright. So now what we're going to do, we're going to come back and we're going to see about lifting the whole thing up and moving it over another guys. So, turns out it's not as easy as I thought it was either. I actually failed to mention that there's a keyway right here. There's like a guide where they just took the grooving between the two teeth and they just left it higher. What that did is it creates a guide on this thing too. So you can see it right there. So it turns out that's actually where the position is on this tractor. So now the next question is, where am I losing my height at? I guess that's just something I'm going to have to sit and ponder for a little bit. I will get back to you guys when I figure it out. Alright guys, actually turns out that for some odd reason, whenever one side rotates one way, the other one rotates the opposite way just because there's no pressure in it. It's kind of the same law as what you might apply to a differential in a car or a tractor or really about any type of transaxle. But it turns out that right here, that whole thing is actually on the same groove. The only difference is there's just a little bit of metal right there that kind of keeps it in that one spot. If you can kind of see it, my light's kind of being dumb, but I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, there you go. But the rest of it's on the same groove. So what I'm thinking about doing is I'm thinking about taking a small ankle grinder in there with a cutting wheel and just simply notching that out so that way I can put my notches to where they need to be. Sounds a little rigged, but at the same time, I've got new bushings and I've got new pins in every single spot. Before I had the 3-point done at the dealership. Alright guys, so we got everything put back together. What ended up happening was the whole entire system was off. So somewhere between my linkages and everything else, it's off by about 2 inches. So what I ended up doing was I ended up grinding off the lip that was causing the thing to line up on one single tooth. And so that way I could adjust it to any type of tooth within that camshaft that's inside there. So now what ended up happening was it was sitting a little bit on the high side, but what I can do is I can go back and I can adjust that with my position control for my plow. So everything's all set there. It's kind of an odd way of doing it, but I guess we both kind of found out how it worked out together. So you and me both got the stupid thing put together though, so thank God. Let's catch you guys on the next one.